So House Republicans have one last holiday weekend before they head back to Washington on Tuesday, but returning to the Capitol may be a relief after getting an earful from constituents at home this week on everything from immigration, health care, taxes, and more. Voters speaking out at a ribbon cutting in Maine and at Ohio and Alabama town halls. So let's take a listen.
Trump was doing a great job of securing our border.
Concepts for a citizen and a non-citizen are different.
False, false, shame, shame.
Propaganda.
Just takes it back.
No, it's propaganda.
Why is the military on streets?
Oh!
We don't want to hear from you.
We don't want to hear it. No. What the hell? Sit down.
Policies. Hi, Harry.
Hello.
Nice to have you on this holiday weekend Saturday. Has opinion changed on tariffs since Trump was elected?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. I'll tell you, Donald Trump and his tariff plan is struggling in the minds of the American public the way that Arch Manning struggled today in Columbus, Ohio. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look. Okay, new tariffs on imported goods. You know, back in November of 2024, when Donald Trump was elected, of course, for a second time, 52% favored. That beat the 48% who opposed it. Look at where we are today. The opposition is through the roof. Now 60%. We're talking about 3/5 of Americans oppose the new tariffs, oppose them compared to just 40% who favor it. So we went from plurality, majority favor to now plurality, majority oppose. Americans have gotten a taste of the tariffs, and what is on their tongues, they do not like. They are spitting it out.
Oh, and why are they spitting it out? Why do they turn negative?
Why have they turned negative? Well, it all comes down to money in the pocket and the belief that tariffs will not, in fact, help you with money in the pocket. What are we talking about? Impact of tariffs on prices. Look at this in the short term. Look at this number. 77% believe that the tariffs will increase prices. Look at this little bitty itty number down here at the bottom. Just 4% say decrease. Look over the long term. This has been the argument of Donald Trump and the Donald Trump administration. Even if you have some pain in the short term, over the long term, the impact of tariffs will be to bring prices down. The American public ain't buying it, though. Look at this. 50% of Americans over the long term say that prices will increase because of tariffs. Get this. Just 25% say decrease. So, yeah, the long-term numbers look better for Donald Trump than the short-term numbers. But those short-term numbers look absolutely atrocious. And thereby comparison, the long-term numbers, I say, look downright awful, which I guess is better than atrocious, but not that much better, Jessica.
Just slightly better. How much has tariffs and trade impacted Trump's approval rating?
Okay, so you see these numbers, right? You see these numbers and you say, okay, that's fine. But is this actually impacting Donald Trump overall? The answer, absolutely yes. Okay, top reason why Donald Trump is doing a bad job as president. Among those who disapprove of him, guess what the top reason why? The economy / tariffs ranks #1 more than any other issue. It's pocketbook issues, right, Jessica? We've spoken about this a million times before. The reason Donald Trump was elected in the first place, at least re-elected a second time, was to bring down prices. He hasn't done that in the minds of the American public. That is why that's the #1 reason. And get this, amongst those who approve of Donald Trump, get this, economy, tariffs, inflation, tariffs, and of course, trade overall, get this, just ranks 10th in the list of reasons why they approve of Trump. Overall, what we've seen is that tariffs and trade has been a reason to bring Donald Trump down. It has not been a reason to raise him up, Jessica Dean.
Interesting. Okay, and as we like to do, this last question, a little different. August is National Dog Month, and my understanding is that you've determined just how popular dogs are.
Yes, I have determined it, and there are many ways I have determined this. First off, look how many people sent in pictures to the dogs on our CNN stand. Look at all these cute. We got Jedi, Brian, of course, is EPing this program. We got Leela over here. We've got Max. We've got Pico. We've got Freddie. We've got Shay. That's Matt Egan's dog. Oh. And get this, the favor rating of dogs, according to polling data, 90%. How high is that? That actually beats the favorable rating of Abraham Lincoln at 83% and George Washington, 78%. Dogs are more popular than even our most popular presidents. And when you see all these cute pooches across the screen, it makes so much sense.
We love our dogs. That's
we do.
True. All right, Harry Enton, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Wow, Megan Hayes and Maura Gillespie are back with me. Do you want to guys quickly react? Megan, you first, and then Maura. That's pretty harsh rhetoric. I mean, it sounds like constituents were not at all buying what these representatives were selling.
Yeah, I mean, this is where elections matter. These representatives, they respond to their constituents. They owe something to their constituents, and they view it that they are now getting their members are now bending to Donald Trump. These are wildly unpopular policies. The tariffs are taxes on the middle class and taxes on the American people. That's all that they are. They're taking away Medicaid and benefits for children with the big, beautiful bill. So, I mean, these constituents have a right to be angry, and they are showing their displeasure to their members. And this is really concerning heading into the midterms.
Maura, your thoughts on what we heard?
Just a round of applause for these members for actually doing an in-person town hall, because I know plenty of members of Congress who do not do them for this very reason, because most likely as a society, we are more apt to show something to complain about it than we are to celebrate it. And that's a sad reality, but it is. I mean, think about comments that are made on restaurant reviews. More often than not, they're probably negative because people go and complain rather than they go to say, yeah, we had a great meal. It was lovely. And it's unfortunate, but it is the reality. So I just want to say to these members, it's a good thing that they went out to their communities to listen to people and let them vent and let them share how frustrated they are. That's a positive thing. I know it doesn't feel like it, but kudos to them and to their offices for doing it.
Well, that's your interpretation, and it is certainly for constituents, but there are some who are hearing all this that are not taking it as well. Let's consider, Megan, the NBC report that Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst will not run for re-election next year. And look, we all remember her viral town hall moment. Are these reactions, again, showing these elected representatives we're not buying it, and you've got to do something to change it? And what extent do you think they will do something to change, given the tenor in Washington right now?
Look, I think the arrogance of that town hall really hurt Joni Ernst in her comments. It was extremely arrogant. The policies are extremely unpopular, even in a deep red state. Taking away Medicaid is really an unpopular policy across the United States. Look, a Democrat may not win in a very red state like Iowa, but maybe a true Republican with actual morals and ethics and will have the same ideology as the actual Republican Party could win, and not someone who's just going to kowtow to Donald Trump.
And Maura, we had Republican Congressman Mark Alford from Missouri, and in that one, look, he's going all in town halls, 15 of them, right, across 4 days, and he says he is treating them as listening sessions, though he is getting an earful from his constituents. But is the strategy to push through and just hope the negativity passes? I mean, at least, to your point, you're showing that you're present among your constituents. Is it the right move?
I do. I think that politics is local. And when you actually listen to people who you're trying to garner their support, you're trying to get their vote for whether it's a district seat or Senate seat, you're looking to hear from them and let them know that you're their representative. And I think what Joni Ernst's mistake was not relating to her constituents, that flippant remark that she made. She's not Donald Trump. And to be able to have the kind of impact that he has had where he gets away with comments like that does not transfer to every Republican in Congress or any candidate running for office. And so she learned that clearly. But I think for members like Alford and others who are doing town halls, it is to the benefit of them as candidates as well as representatives. To be truly a representative for your community is to listen.
So let's talk about Gavin Newsom, and I'll start with you, Maura, because he makes noise while taking on Trump. His support among Democrats is, in fact, surging. There's a new Emerson College poll that has 25% of Democratic primary voters supporting Newsom. That's up from 12 points just in June. Sure, we're years away from 2028, but what does this snapshot show at this point, Maura?
I think this most recent attempt by their press office to show a mirror to Donald Trump of what, and to MAGA supporters, of what the president does on a daily basis on his True Social accounts and social media by using the all caps and the "thank you for your attention to this matter." I mean, the fact that they have said how juvenile it is, how can you then not say that what the president of the United States does is as well juvenile? So I do think that that's been a proven tactic, and it's been helping kind of position him as a leader in the Democratic Party who's willing to hold a mirror up to Donald Trump. And again, I think when we look at politics, hypocrisy is so frustrating, because if we fail to be objective, we lose. And we as a collective, we lose. And that's what you're seeing play out right here, this hypocrisy, this failure to be objective.
And to that point, Megan, Newsom's support grew across Democratic groups. I mean, is he really?
You know, Trump was getting this data. He gets all this data, and probably before we do in some cases, right? And this data that he got over dinner time or whenever he got it, in addition to all this footage of people like ripping into him and ripping into his allies, into his policies, showcases that, again, he's weakening. Trump was never super popular, but it should be said that he was basically, going back to the first term, the least unpopular he ever was at the start of this term. That on Inauguration Day, basically, he was as popular as he ever was. And I know that sucks to hear after all he did in his first term and on January 6th and all the awful things he said the last 4 years in between, right? But that's the truth. And he squandered it. He squandered it all, and in general, his numbers are down, and on most of the issues, his numbers are down. You know, even the things he ran on and is doing things, whether you agree, but he's actually doing things on some of them, and they're failing. And this is a man that wants to be president again. Again, he's still talking about a third term. Like, first of all, that's unconstitutional, but at the very least, if people are going to be willing to fight and die because it'll have to be a coup to make you a three-term president, they have to at least like you. And I don't get a sense that people like you, and I don't get a sense that Republicans are unified, and I certainly don't get a sense that J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and all the people who think it's their turn are willing to wait another 4 years, because they're already plotting. I covered it this morning. The Daily Beast is talking about how Vance is already plotting against Trump. Plotting for when Trump is 6 feet under, because people think it's going to happen before 2028. So, Donald, your 12-year plan is ruined. The only hope I have is that they revisit locking your ass up when you're done.